call the meeting to order, the public hearing of the town of Madisonville, May 13th, 2026.
Councilman Haddocks?
Present.
Councilman Bounds?
Present.
Councilman Dennis?
Present.
Councilwoman Faison?
Present.
Councilman Ogle?
Present.
Mayor Pilat?
Present. Ms. Boudreau, would you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Madisonville and, in particular, Chapter 22, Flood Prevention and Protection, Article 5, Provisions for Flood Hazard Reduction, by adding a paragraph entitled Severability and numbering it Section 22-115 and amending the previously numbered Section 22-115, Penalties for Noncompliance, and renumbering it as Section 22-116 to immediately follow Paragraph 22-115, Severability. Whereas the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, Office of the Public Works and Water Resources, Floodplain Management Section recently instructed the town to add a severability clause to Article 5 of Part 2, Chapter 22, Flood Prevention and Protection during a review of the town's flood prevention ordinance. Whereas the state further requested the numerical placement of the severability provision as set forth above. Whereas it is in the best interest of the town to comply with the state's request and to further strengthen the town's ordinance. Now therefore it be ordained by the town of Madisonville Council that the Code of Ordinances of the town, Part 2, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Flood Prevention and Protection, Article 5, Provision for Flood Hazard Reduction, be amended as herein above set forth.
Council, you've heard the ordinance that has been discussed in previous meetings, read tonight. Or is there any additional conversation or comments that you have? Hearing none, any from the audience? Hearing none, I ask for someone to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Haddocks, second by Councilwoman Faison to adjourn the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we open up the council meeting of May 13th, 2026. Please call the order.
Councilman Haddocks?
Present.
Councilman Bounds?
Present.
Councilman Dennis?
Present.
Councilwoman Faison?
Present.
Councilman Ogle?
Present.
Mayor Pilat?
Present. I ask you all to please silence your phones, stand for the invocation by Councilman Bounds and the pledge by Councilwoman Faison.
Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight as a community. We ask that you continue to help us with our thoughts, our words, our decisions, as you continue to watch over our community and we move towards our these issues. All this we ask and pray in your name. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you have your April 8th, 2026 council minutes and April 25th, 2026 public committee meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, they're approved. You also have the March 2026 financial reports. Any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, those are approved. Next thing on the agenda is public comment period. We have 3 people that's already addressed in the public comment period. So before going into the audience, I would ask for Ms. Edwards, would you come up, introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me and allowing me to come before you all. I have to say, this is like the tamest council member meeting I've ever been to, so congratulations to that.
It's early.
Okay. Okay. I just want to say, I'm running for the Supreme Court. I am a candidate. I believe I'm the most qualified to run for the Supreme Court. I already represent you all right now as a Court of Appeals judge at the First Circuit Court of Appeals in Baton Rouge. I've been on the bench for over 18 years. I want you to know that I've been a lifelong Christian conservative. I know the ads don't depict that. AI could be a good thing, but sometimes not so good. But I've been a Republican for over 2 decades. However, that gets lost in everything because as a judge, you have to apply the law that's written, how it's written. I believe in 3 branches of government and that I should not legislate from the bench. No rogue judges. I believe in judicial transparency. I also believe that the black robe is not a symbol of power, but it is a symbol of responsibility. And the Supreme Court has a responsibility to be transparent, to apply the law as written. An appellate review is very different than a district court judge. You're working with different people, just like yourselves, on a panel, to come up with the best decisions, the best opinions that you can, formulated at the Court of Appeals by 3 people. At the Supreme Court, it's 7 people. You are also over the budget for the entire judiciary. You're also over the programmatic things in specialty courts. And I volunteered for 2 drug courts, juvenile drug courts. I have an accounting degree. I worked in small business after graduating. I was an accountant for Texaco. I was an accountant for Entergy. I started night school in law school and continued to work part-time. I was a single mother of 2 with Entergy. And then I came back and went to my home in Amite and ran for juvenile judge. I did murders and delinquency in criminal court. I used every book that every judge has had to use. I have to follow all of the same rules of evidence, of civil procedure, but I also have to add an additional book, which is the Children's Code, which is one of the thickest books. And I believe that I am the most qualified, having 18 years to 8 years, having dealt with so many different issues, DCFS, along with criminal delinquency, working in specialty courts. And I think with my accounting degree, working for the budgetary concerns of the judiciary and the specialty courts, I think that is something that I am prepared to do. I represent you all here tonight regardless of what happens on Saturday, but I can tell you I would love and believe that I'm the most qualified to represent you on the state Supreme Court. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity and tell you all good luck with the rest of the meeting.
Any questions?
Yes, any questions?
Any questions, council? Thank you very much for coming to our town council
Absolutely.
meeting. Yeah,
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate it, and certainly you're welcome to stay as long as you want.
Okay.
But we understand.
I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, we do understand that everybody has a lot of commitments, so
Yes.
if you do scoot out, we do understand it.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Rhoda?
Thanks, guys and ladies, for having me come tonight and allowing me to come. I appreciate being the guest speaker, one of the guest speakers, along with Blair. I'm here as a Bessie candidate. I often get the question, for what is Bessie? When I tell them I'm running, I get a blank stare. It's for the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. It makes policy for all of our schools in the state of Louisiana, public schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. It's an important role, and sadly, a lot of people are not even aware of its strength and what it does in our district schools. So there are 11 members. 3 are comprised from the governor's selection. They're appointed by the governor. The other 8 cover the rest of the territory of the state of Louisiana. The majority of my district is, well, all of St. Tammany actually is in my district, It goes across into Jefferson Parish. It takes Port of Orleans, Port of Tangi, so it's a very big area. Since it covers all of St. Tammany, I want you to know I am a resident of Covington. It would be nice to have a St. Tammany person represent us, since it is the majority of our district. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have a degree in elementary education and a master's in elementary curriculum. I have a +30 in supervision. But most importantly, I have over 27 years in public education. I have 20 years as a residential contractor, started building houses. I have 30 years of back office administration work in our family business, small businesses. I'm not like any other candidate in this race. My experience goes full circle. I've been a student, a parent, a teacher, an administrator, and a business owner. I've spent over 50,000 hours in public schools. 50,000 hours. My opponents have none, 0 hours in public school systems. We need someone to go and represent with knowledge. Yes, we need a mix on our board, but we need to have a strong knowledge going in. If we had had someone who could speak up, we would not have lost a generation of students who cannot write in cursive. Do you remember, or how many of you are familiar with that? If an educator had spoken up, there are a few things they would have pointed out. Our historical documents are written in cursive writing. You can't write in cursive, there's a big chance you can't read in cursive. Then you go to the younger ones. It's also a fine motor skill as they progress from print to cursive writing. There are many benefits. We need representation of a knowledgeable person on that board. I'm asking that you guys get out, let people know what Bessie is, first of all. Let them know we have a candidate on the North Shore running who has knowledge and can help our children. I want traditional, not indoctrination. I want education, not indoctrination of our curriculum. I want our parents to continue to have free choice. I don't want boys in the girls' bathroom. I don't want girls forced to play sports against the boys. I want traditional education, and that is what I believe in and have experienced in my 27 years. And I'll make sure that that occurs. Vote for Ellie Shirley when you get to the voting booth, because a vote for Ellie is a vote for our children. Thank you guys for having me.
I have some questions for you,
Yes,
actually.
sure.
I have 3 school-age children, and I volunteer often. I thought I would say this. All 3 of mine did learn cursive. It was not necessarily for a grade, but they do all know how. They don't like to, but they know how to write in cursive. But I have a question for you about Tier 1 curriculum. Are you familiar with the current Tier 1 curriculum?
When you say Tier 1, are we talking about high-dose tutoring? What is Tier 1?
No, Tier 1 is the curriculum requirements for a parish or school to be considered a Tier 1 school. So currently, this is something that my understanding is that Bessie is involved in the requirements for Tier 1, and it just goes down into the parishes, right? For instance, social studies right now, we have 1 curriculum available for our entire state that is Tier 1 rated. There are no other curriculums currently available for our children. I study the entire unit. I pull out the teacher's guide, all of the reading for my children or my child that has a hard time with it every single week for the new chapters. I'm literally having to reteach her. In the process, I am often finding incorrect answers on tests and assignments that are not even correct in the curriculum itself, as well as highly age-inappropriate questioning and structure. We're in a 4th grade level right now with her, and I'm seeing I've shown adults, and they don't know how to answer the question. That is a big concern, very, very important to me. I know that Tier 1 is new, and maybe that's just that the curriculums are behind, but I would very much like to see some reform there. And to actually have someone with eyeballs on the curriculum and know, and assess it and say, okay, is this actually age appropriate? Anyway, I don't know if that's something that you've looked into or not.
Having taught first through 8th grade, the whole spectrum, age appropriate is very important, not just for the maturity, but for what the content is also. Tier 1, I kind of heard it, but I've heard it mentioned as another term. There's no reason we should have only one option in education. Just for the mere fact that no kid learns alike, there has to be options of what you teach and how you teach it. The content, if you have an educator's eyes on it, they should be able to tell that things are not lining up when you have the questions in response to the content.
But the teachers are talking about it, I mean, 100%. So
Yes.
if there's someone that is going to be on the BESI board, I would love for them to speak to the teachers.
And I would like to know, because typically when I taught, my last year was 2013, full disclosure, we would adopt a new textbook every few years, but the minimum we had was 3, which was actually minimized at the district level. The state gave like 5 to 7 typically. And one of the things we have to be concerned about and make sure is that there's transparency in the adoption, making sure that there are no certain people benefiting just because we're adopting.
I'm hopeful that more curriculums will come out since this is new. And it is possible that it was just so quick that, that was just the first.
And I know that Tier 1, that they're looking for higher standards, and that's what they're really trying to shoot for, to
course,
challenge our
right.
children to learn at a higher level.
We all want the same thing. I just am very concerned that it was rushed, and now the children are paying dearly for it.
I hate to even think about the times that I've seen, I call it the guinea pig situation. So things go in cycles. We're going back to phonology, phonics in the classroom. That's called the science of reading, by the way.
Yeah, I've read
We
that,
just call it phonology.
So, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Oh, another one, Lewis? Sorry, that's okay, Lewis.
You don't mind.
No.
Sitting behind you is my wife, who we've been married for 36 years. For 33 of those, she's been a public school teacher. And she works in special ed. I think it's called Children with Exceptionality.
Sweet now, I believe they call it sweet.
So, and my mother, before that, was a para in special ed classrooms for 38 years. So I've been around the state's education system. I graduated from Mandeville High. All 3 of my daughters graduated from there. She has had some wonderful experiences in the classroom. I hate to speak for her, and she's right there. And by the way, Stacy Domingue behind her was a teacher for over 30 years also.
And I thank them both. I know what it takes.
But I've seen her have at times to deal with challenging students, and in that field, I think you can expect that. At other times, challenging parents, which I would not expect, but that's the situation. But I've also seen her deal with challenges that seem to be self-inflicted from requirements, especially paperwork, things like that, that come from somewhere outside of the classroom. And I don't know if it's a parish thing or if it's a BESI board thing or even a federal thing. But I've also seen, as she's gotten closer to retirement, I've kind of watched some of the St. Tammany school system retirement celebrations. And I've seen quite a few teachers retire after 27, 28, 29 years. And when you get to 30, your retirement benefit is a lot better.
Right.
And it troubles me to see that, because I'm thinking they couldn't take another year or another 2. So hopefully you get into office, and I would just ask that maybe you spend time in the classroom, maybe you spend time talking to teachers and hearing what, from their perspective, what it's like to teach in this parish in the state. And this is one of the best school systems in the state and really in the country.
And I have spent time in 2 of the lower elementary and then our 3rd, 4th grade school. I think it was in Mandeville. I was invited to come and speak to the administration. Should I say, listen to the administration? So yes, I will be spending time. I've spoken to every superintendent that is in my district except for Orleans. That's the only one that I've not heard back from. I am interested in what has happened between 2013 and this year. There's a lot going on. It's kind of like the legislature. They make new laws constantly. Bessie Barrett's making new policy. I just want to make sure that there's someone in the room that can raise their hand and say, wait, that sounds like a good idea, but might be the problem if we implement before it gets to our kids. I personally would like to see like I forgot the correct terminology, but like a test lab group where one school would volunteer to test a specific program and not be condemned for its results in any way, or, we're looking for solutions, but we don't want solutions statewide. We would like to try and navigate it in a close, controlled, smaller group, but enough differences, social, emotional, economically diverse, to where we can find a structure that will help our children grow without using them as total experiments as a whole state.
Before I forget, also, I've been around special ed because of my mother and wife for 50 years. The school system is losing an amazing teacher in my wife. I haven't seen anybody better anywhere, more committed to her students and to her profession than she has been.
Special education is one of the hardest roles that they have in education, and unfortunately, it's the least supported of the teachers. We have a lot of our new teachers coming out of college trying to get a job, and many are being placed in special education situations, having not even been taught the sections of an IEP or what's in an IEP. In relation to your question about where did some of these laws come from, an IEP is a federal document, and many of the regulations come down from the federal level.
And just to add to Kristen's comment, because I work with kids in after-school programs, and I've seen parents and myself frustrated trying to help with homework on things that with a college degree, you couldn't understand what was being asked, and that's a concern to me. And I think it's related to what Kristen said, I'm not sure. But the curriculum, when they make major changes and parents can't even help with, say, a third or fourth grade math question, to me, that's a big problem.
And yet we want our parents to participate. So yes, I agree. Any other questions?
One from the back of the room.
Yes, ma'am.
Look, not so much a question, but a comment. When we wound up with this core curriculum and we dropped the standards that has been set for the 1950s, every course, math, science, all of them had standards. And you had to teach to those standards, and the kids had to learn to those standards. But along comes the school boards who will not let you fail a child who has a D or F in reading. You had to pass the kid along, and the next teacher then is supposed to teach 2 grades in one classroom. It doesn't work. And this is going on and on and on. And I was telling Kim Carver about it as well. And what has happened is that you've got kids who couldn't read because they had a problem and it wasn't addressed. You had transition grades, you had that, it works well, but it was wrong. Every time you had something, or the textbooks were, all of a sudden the math books, instead of teaching math, had a lot of fluff in it. Well, you don't need the fluff, and why can't you learn the multiplication tables? Why is this a problem? So what you've had is a lot of teachers have said something, but because you're a teacher and you're not the elected individual, no one was listening, and you had to make yourself heard. And trust me, I taught for 35 years, 5 different parishes, 1st through 8th grade, whatever. And when I wanted to say something, I said it, and I tell somebody, if you don't like it, come take my
Any other questions? Ms. Schroeder, thank you very much for coming to our council meeting.
Again, thanks for having me, guys. And if you ever need, call me. We'll talk about it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to both of you guys.
The next person on the agenda is Casey Revere, and he's not here. I don't see him. So what I'd ask us to do is, we all know what his request was, but rather than vote on it, I'd like to table it to the end of the meeting in case he's just running late. Is that okay? Okay. Is anyone else here to speak to the council? Seeing no one, we'll move into old business. First thing in old business is a job performance complaint by Councilman Ogle. At the March 11th meeting, it was tabled until the May meeting. Motion was by Councilman Dennis, second by Councilman Haddix. Is this still something, Councilman, you're still wanting to pursue?
In executive session, yes.
Yes.
So motion to move in executive session.
Motion by...
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ogle, second by Councilman Dennis to move into executive session. Everyone in the audience, we will be moving into the conference room, so you're okay to stay right here.
stuff comes out. And then people come out there, it's harder. So, yeah, I just want to do it. Well, that's. Right, they're like, we're not doing this. It doesn't. Yeah, and everybody's doing it, but I also think that like down so that takes the pressure. I heard. That's always a challenge. It's kind of a neat little deal, like, you got an action place, so you can have, but it was kind of a company over the a lot of stand-up tables and yeah, like, and so you were always talking with different people, so it was nice. It wasn't like the whole sit down and wait it on. Either way. Yeah. Sounds like it. Oh, no. Hold on, see that. Let's bring it else.
Hey, how are you?
Well, you know,
How are you?
She lived with us, but she's kind of always, she's got a group of families that she met at our church, where she's just constantly serving them and whatever, and they love her, so always there. She'll come home about 10 o'clock, and I get back. She's 17. That's what happened. She's done that a few times. She went to Houston with one family because they were like, we want to go to Houston and do some stuff. And his wife had done some vacation. Yeah, so she's done that. Now she takes care of their animals when they all go. So same sort of thing. So it's like, at least get some good dinner out of that. All the places in North Louisiana. Interesting. Wow.
Oh, yeah, on Lake Darby. Okay. Yeah, it's in Congress. Yeah. Well, my son-in-law doesn't eat much it's on. When I was in college, I guess I was a facility where they have equipment for special needs people, and they, and others. But, they showed us and adapted and all kinds of.
I had some of my best friends. Yeah, no, not that bad. You open the door for 2 seconds. We had watched that for a while, so we bring it inside. Yeah, we put it on the kitchen counter. And you'll be going to say, what a great idea. It's fantastic. I started doing that 2 years ago, because, you know, I was getting and, they always come out, and I just arrange, but somehow they know whenever we have our land schools.
Nobody, I mean, I never heard about it.
No more schools. Yeah, so we can look, and usually in May, and in June, we look down around. Well, I had to. Well, no, I had to choose after what was small. Now we got this, exactly. They couldn't watch that on, Alan Codman, she had to wait till 15 minutes, the lights out. All right, I got all in the fold now. Without counting that, put around here, so it's gonna like the janitor, and start, I know they got those on, you know, I said, when I come across, no problem. For 2 years ago, oh, just one second, where were you? Oh, right here. I've always wanted to report now, because that was one thing. That's where this. When she has those, like, yeah, pick her up. Yeah. Well, do I get kid work?
Hopefully you guys will become like a percent of my calendar. It's not easy. I'll respond. Probably a little later. Yeah. All this focus on Oh, I did. I think after the first couple, I was like, hey. So it's funny when he and I talked after our meeting on that day. He would come down this road, but also, I'm yeah. I gathered that, and he really went. He's like, he's like, I was like, no. I was like, I said, look, I think I needed to do more of it when I first came out here. But my job was really support. Try not to come and step on toes. So he said, look, like I say, he won't sit down, so like, Doing as much production as you do. There's no way you can schedule. So have you been able to figure out more of these things like that? She's kind of got around the things now. Well, at some point, it's not. I did, it was more, I was talking to that's the way I want it to work. It's like, trust you, trust you. Watch the long footage. No, she pick up on I'm calling around everybody saying, if I was here, and if somebody were to, I well, I was like, call me, she says, no. That's all they said. All right. I don't know if you're gonna be down. driving from San Antonio to 14, but it's just like there's not, so our Central Airport stuff, it's hard to get from there to anywhere, and it's expensive, and there's six of my family.
I always wanted to ask you.
Cost. I put all my half flights on my Southwest card. Yeah, if we do an acquisition, I'll get one. Guys, and I drive to Richardson, I go out there to it's actually cheaper to fly out of Austin. We've done that. Fly over it and have one of my gotta make it easy. Stay in our offices. When I fly back.
Oh, wow, I love that. Let others laugh. Patience, your pace. Started.
You just left it on. I think we'll leave it on rather than.
What'd you say? We had a motion to enter into executive session. I'm going to ask for a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
By Councilman Haddix, second.
Second?
By Councilman Dennis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Someone going to offer a motion about the,
A motion to resolve or dismiss the job complaint. We came to a resolution, and we're all in agreement.
Second.
motion by Councilwoman Faison, second by Councilman Haddix, that the job performance complaint was dismissed. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is the committee's, community center roof. Kyle, would you discuss that, please?
Yeah, I texted Casey, and he said he didn't realize he needed to be here. He figured after the committee meeting.
Thank you very much. We'll discuss it.
Okay. Community center roof bid, Deidre and I actually opened the bids about, a week and a half ago. And the low bid came in at $142,000 from Gulf Coast Metalworks, under the project estimate. And it is recommended by MSH Architects that you guys approve the bid.
Budget was $200,000.
200?
Yes. It is,
That's for the roof?
Correct, roof replacement. I think y'all have the,
All right, so when I look at 142 on the...
correct.
Okay.
That's the bid that the contractor.
that's the one that won the bid.
Correct.
What's the 200,000?
That was what they estimated.
That's what
They
the
thought it was gonna.
capital outlay allowed us to spend with a 25% matching amount. So the fact that it came in below that, our portion of that will actually go down also. So all we're doing is, it was recommended to accept that bid and award it to the contractor. Do we have a motion to do that? Motion by Councilman Bounds, second by Councilman Haddix. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Going into new business, ordinance amending Chapter 22, flood prevention and protection. That was a public hearing that we had earlier this afternoon, or earlier tonight. Are there any additional comments that need to be made under that ordinance? If no additional comment from the council or the audience, I would ask for a roll call vote and a motion, please.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Councilman Haddix. Second by Councilman Dennis. Please do a roll call vote.
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddix? Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Next thing on the agenda is the 2027 fiscal year budget, the presentation, and hopefully the introduction. Are there any questions under the budget that was sent to you in your packet tonight?
I have a couple of quick questions.
Yes.
As you are aware, we got the wrong budget last month. It was distributed to the public, but I think only one person, and maybe all members of the council, got a budget that was different from what's being proposed. I guess my first question is, why do we have two budgets?
Well, because if you realize this, we probably had 6 budgets. It's a working document as we go through the budget, and it starts in January, when I start putting the budget together. So it's a working document, and actually has not even been finalized until this budget that you received tonight. So the one that Deidre had sent out to you all for last month's meeting was an error on her part. It came out of her computer. She admitted to that error. And the one that was sent to you in your packet for the committee meeting was out of my computer. So in error, she printed the wrong budget. But keep in mind, it's a working budget. And the final budget and the final proposed budget for next year is the one that we're looking at tonight. So that's why you got it.
Well, honest mistake, I don't have an issue with that. But it did cause me to have a couple of other questions, because obviously at one point in time, if it's a working budget, we had some numbers plugged in here that somebody, you or somebody in your office, thought were correct. They're quite different from the current budget. One was the gas fees, several $100,000 difference from what's being proposed. Could you explain, how we estimate those, or why there would be such a big difference?
So is that in the gas fund?
I'm looking at the combined budget, where, the correct budget was 3.6 million. The budget we got at our last meeting was 4.2 million, $600,000 difference.
If you would go to your gas fund, and let's look at that so that I can try to explain that to you. And tell me what line are you talking? You're talking about the gas sales?
Right, it's the gas revenue.
The gas revenues. If you look at the gas fund, the actual March through March for the fiscal year, the actual amount collected at this point is $3,203,350. The projected amount is $4 million. That's finished out for the next 3 months. The projected amount is $4,271,133. If you look at the proposed budget, it's exactly what we sold this year, or projected to sell, $4,271,133. So that number came exactly from what the projected sales are for this year's budget. Does that explain that?
It's just divided by
Sure.
9, multiplied by 12.
Yes, yeah.
There is a seasonal quality to that revenue, though, right?
Yeah.
You're expecting by the end of June that we'll have 4.2, not the 3.6 that was in the other budget.
Right, right.
And so the other question I have, it's a big difference, was on the sidewalk project on 21,
Okay.
where the incorrect budget we had $601,483, and the budget as presented now had $330,000 for the town's portion. So one of the things that I learned when I was looking at the grant itself was that drainage was not included. And I'm just wondering, does that $330,000 include drainage improvements? I sent everybody an email today. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but I just got some additional information from Tyler Geddes with Thompson Engineers. And it does show in the diagrams that we're going to have some drainage improvements along 21 to make that plan work.
I don't have your questions. And I'm glad you sent the questions and answers to the rest of the council. And I don't have your questions, but I don't remember you asking about drainage. Do you have a drainage question that you asked in there?
I had asked Tyler previously, was drainage included in this project?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it in the numbers that you presented.
Well, but did you ask them?
Yeah, he said, no, it was, if there were any drainage improvements, that would need to be added. The $330,000 is mostly engineering fees, which we have to pay 100% of.
Correct.
And then 5% of the actual work.
That's correct, yes. Yes. And the scope of work, and he said, he answered your questions. I didn't print them and bring them with me, I guess I could have.
I have them here. What are you looking for?
Was there any drainage questions that were?
In that email that we got earlier?
Yeah.
No.
I-
There's a crosswalk striping question, just confirming that the price was correct.
Yes.
Why would you or would you not recommend us moving forward and just doing that on our own outside of the grant? The information received mentioned the 2,800 linear feet of sidewalk. Do you have anything that shows where that sidewalk would be located? The original scope of work included 3,200 feet of combination concrete curb and gutter. I guess that could be, is that gutter, would that be considered drainage?
No, the diagrams show some subsurface drainage either beneath the sidewalk or beneath the,
It says drainage modifications, and that's in the scope of work on Louisiana 21 Covington Street. So, I mean, that's in their scope of work, and what percentage of that is, I'm not sure, but that's included, what I'm looking at, in their scope of work, drainage modifications.
so your position is that 330,000 is going to cover all of our portion.
The 330,000 is $280,949 of engineering services, and 49,000, which is 5% of the total grant. Yes.
The other things that I saw in the latest rendition of it, one is that, we'd have 3 pedestrian crossings with flashing beacons, which is fantastic. We have needed that for a while. I was kind of surprised his price was $6,000 for each one. I asked him, gosh, why haven't we gone to the state the town can afford $18,000 to get people across the street safely. I asked him, why can't we go to the state to do that even outside of this grant rather than waiting on the grant? But he said we have to do a traffic study. And then finally, the topic that came up at our last meeting was related to the work on the light poles along that same stretch of highway and the traffic nightmare that it caused. So I asked him if he thought, in his opinion, if he thought that work could be done at night. And he responded that some night work may be permitted, but I doubt the entire project would be constrained to night work. So just additional information I wanted to share related to that major item that's in the budget.
He also said that we could try and schedule it during the summer as well to avoid the school times, which I would highly recommend just after experiencing the small amount of work done by CLECO recently.
So looking at the revised plan, which I realize is not the end plan that we're going to have, there's some negotiations. I think a lot of it looks good. I don't agree necessarily with where the pedestrian crossings are, but I know we can look at that later.
And that can be discussed after the engineering is done, the traffic studies are done, and we have public meetings. That certainly could be discussed.
And we've actually had two push-button pedestrian crossings donated by Breck Pitcher and his future wife. They were given the, I don't know what they mean. So possibly those would be usable at no cost.
Yeah, the ones in Madisonville look really nice. They match the design of the street signs that Mayor put up around town a few years ago. I think they're solar powered, so they don't need an electrical connection, and maybe that's why they're less expensive. But, walking in Mandeville, which I do some of the time, I noticed that initially drivers did not respect people who were trying to get across the street at those beacons. But over time, it seems like they've gotten used to it, and I think it would, regardless of whether we get this grant or not, it's something that we ought to pursue as quickly as we can.
Going back to the nighttime construction for this project, just keep in mind, council, typically nighttime labor goes up 10 to 20% because it's nighttime. So just keep that in regards.
One other question, Mr. Mayor. You have a couple of line items in the budget. The capital improvements for the water system, and this Transportation Alternatives Program, and in parentheses, it says surplus income to cover the town's portion. Is that surplus income we have already generated? Is it income we're expecting to generate next year? Where's that coming from?
Yeah, the 330,000, that's surplus income. That's what we have in surplus monies that we've already generated.
So it's already there,
Yeah,
not for next, okay.
yeah, yes.
You gotta have a zero balance budget, so you take that surplus and put it towards that, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's,
on purpose.
it's out of the sales tax fund, and it was surplus income in that area. Any other questions? Any other questions from the audience? No other questions, I'd ask someone to introduce the budget that's presented to you.
Motion to introduce the budget.
Motion by Councilwoman Faison to introduce the 2027 budget. I'm sorry? By Mr. Bounds?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bounds. Would you do a roll call vote, please, Steve?
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddock?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Bound?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Council. Next thing on the agenda is, what is it? Oh, the resolution to accept completion of the USDA Rural Business Development Program, the Water Street Connectivity Program. That's just a completion of that project out there that we need to submit the resolution on. You have it in your packet. Do I have a motion on that?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Councilman Haddock, second
Second.
by Councilman Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need a roll call vote on that, Deidre? On that resolution? Yes. Please do that.
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddock?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Bound?
Yes.
Thank you. Next thing on the agenda is just making you aware of the Louisiana Department 2025 water grade for the town of Madisonville. The score was 101 and A+, which is, very exciting to get. So, any questions on that?
I guess I have a question related to that. On the proposed water system improvements, one of the questions that I'd asked the engineers was, what was the original capacity of that Pine Street well? And I never actually got an answer to it. What we've been told is that it's showing diminished capacity over time, but I don't know, when did that start and does anybody have an answer to that? Or is it-
Maybe Kyle does. Are you showing diminished reports, or is that just less than, I don't,
I don't know what the original capacity was, but it did show a lessening in the last year from when we do our annual
okay.
tests on it.
That was just a year over year, not over a period of years?
Lows in the last year.
So what is it?
210 right now? Yeah,
About 250. And that's at a diminished level?
250 gallons of that.
That's at a diminished level up from last year, so it would have been.
Korea's maybe two. It went down 10-15%, something like that.
Okay. Does that answer your question, or do you have a follow-up? Do you have a follow-up to that?
I don't know. Mr. Joe, do you know what the original capacity was on that well? Is there a state record of it?
It might be that from your years.
And Villages of Bocage had 105, our other water system, so it had 105% on that one.
Okay. Department reports, engineering.
Okay, I gave you a monthly summary on the pool repairs. The contractor is still doing some punch list items on that.
We are looking at the well site and the layout of the new well. And that's going to take a time. We got a real tight situation, and we're looking at how the contractor can access it and whatever.
Just a few things on there. And Joe, it's really for the council. Some of the things that was either in the, on the budget for next year, nothing, either in the capital improvements, capital outlay, or the grant requests. I was in Baton Rouge last week at the Capitol, and certainly spoke with Senator Wheat and also our Representative Carver on the requests that we've made this year. I'm encouraged, but I've been disappointed in the past. So I don't know how we're going to end up, but I was encouraged by our conversations that we certainly may see one or a number of things that may come through. But we don't know that, and again, it wouldn't, I've done this long enough to know that I can be disappointed. So all I'm saying is that the efforts have been made, the conversations have been had, and going over there to the Capitol was just an extra step to be in front of the people that we need to be in front of to make those requests and to ask for those monies. And you just don't get them unless you do that.
Right.
So, I see them in your summary. Whether it's the water well and the elevated tower, or the replacement of water pipes, all of those things have been requested, and along with the riverfront work on the street and parking. And what happens, I don't know yet, but I'm certainly encouraged that something will. So.
Can I add a request here? Because we had asked, David goes in with Owen and Lights and questions. One of the questions I had was related to the well, and his response was, I have not examined the well personally. I'm talking about the Pine Street well, but I understand from what I've heard from Grimer's recent report that it is not practical to increase the capacity. I know you want us to go through you before we send anything to the engineers, and they've asked for that as well. I reached out to Griner, and they were happy to share the video, the entire video of the well with me. I looked at it. It's 3 hours of the most boring video you will ever watch in your life, but you can fast forward over it and see the whole thing. Can I forward that to you? Just in case there's something in that video that the engineers have not looked at that might cause them to think twice about the location or the depth of the well? They have seen it now? Okay. This is coming from David. He hadn't seen it when he gave us this last month.
This is from Griner, correct?
The video is from Griner.
Griner.
David with Owen and White.
Well, Owen and White was hired just to do the, I'm trying to think, the program that, the model. That's all that Owen and White was hired to do, was the model for the town. So they didn't individually do that. But you can send me anything you want. I mean, you're saying that you went over the video with Bia? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Okay, all right. Y'all actually met today to review the site for the new well, which I know you were going to bring up tonight. Yeah, you and Joe. I mean, yeah, send anything you want. Actually, if you can forward to me, copy Kyle, or do you have it? Do you have Griner's? You got Griner's site, so, okay.
Yeah, it just surprised me because Owen and White put together this $9 million plus project, and it just surprised me that he hadn't looked at it. And he probably won't see anything more than I saw, but just in case he notices something that might cause him to think the location's wrong or the depth needs to be changed. When you talk about a $9 million project, the guy who designed the project, I would hope, he could sit down and look at it.
Okay.
Well, the location of the screen of the new well will be determined by when you put in a test well. That's what you put in a test well. So you don't know if it's going to be the same as the other or not. I'll tell you, the other one is just too small. It's absolutely too small. And that's a log that is always done on an existing well. You're really looking to see the condition of the well, the screen and casing and whatever. Because the test well for a new well will determine where the screen is.
Any questions for engineering? Thank you, Joe. Police Department?
Easy. Good evening, everyone. We had a fairly slow month of April, May. Obviously, it's not starting out real well, but the upside of it, we got a new hire finally for the police department. He passed all these exams and stuff, so I'm meeting with him in the morning to get everything straight. So we got some high hopes for him. He's got a good many years of experience, and we also got a second guy now that we're looking at that's supposedly turn his application in tomorrow. So hopefully, if we can do it, we'll have both of our positions filled. One's definitely going to be filled by the guy we got today. He passed through RMI, passed all the exams and everything, so we should have him hired hopefully by tomorrow or the next day, get all the paperwork straight on him. So we're.
How much experience did you say he had?
I don't know the exact amount of councilman, but he's probably got upwards of 12 to 15. He was a hockey player probably prior to this. He was a professional hockey player.
In Louisiana?
Yes, sir. Yes. He worked for two separate agencies here. And both of them was good professional agencies, so we were very glad to get him. And the other gentleman that we're looking at also, I think he had two agencies also, so he's filling out his application as we speak. Hopefully I'll have it tomorrow. We're preparing for school traffic, another week of that, and then we got to get through the river jump, which scares me to death, but we're going to try to run through it again this year. Like I said, April was fairly slow. May just seems to be starting out. We had a serious motorcycle accident. I heard y'all talking about the Button deals, Councilman Haddix. We had some accidents right there, which it has nothing to do with this, but Highway 22 on Water Street. We had two back-to-back ones probably within 3 days of each other because I worked both of those accidents. And then also Coon had one where two pedestrians were hit, almost in the same identical spot right there, Highway 22 on Water. And it was just kind of a fluke thing. The two I worked were both daylights. The two pedestrians were late afternoon, early evening hours, but I don't know what happened at that time period. But we had some, the pedestrians were very lucky. We got video of the accidents because the video's on that corner. So they were all very fortunate not to be injured more than what they were. The motorcycle accident, the driver had to be airlifted away, but hopefully he's going to be doing well. We've been in contact with the family. Otherwise, then we'll go through some numbers. I'm going to sit down. 2024 traffic stops was 146. This year, they down to 104. Citations in 24 was 110. We had 92 this year for the month of April. Our warnings went down from 49 to 31. Our crashes went up from 3 to 5. And our arrests went down from 4 to 1. Of course, we got 3 other people we have to arrest. We just haven't been arrested yet. But that's pretty well all I got for the month of April. I'll stand for any questions, comments.
Well, thank you. What can be done, in your opinion, about that intersection at Pine Street?
That's the worst intersection we have in town for accidents, for sure.
You can't see cars.
We've looked at it, Councilman. There's really
When you pull up, if you're going southbound, there's really not a lot of obstacles. You got the snowball stand right there, but it's well off the street. The fence is well off the street. If you're going northbound, the only issue we got with the northbound traffic is obviously the business next door. You know, you got to kind of inch out there a little bit. And it's not the business, it's the traffic that goes, that frequents that business. Sometimes they park on that shoulder right there.
But that's not even the issue, it's the cars. I mean, if there's a stoplight, if the car pulls up almost into the intersection, you know, the next car comes up, there's enough room for a car to get through, but you can't see.
Well, yeah, and there's also an issue with people blocking it too. They'll block Pine Street as well.
Well, and even if you're traveling southbound, there's a white, it's called a stop line. There's a white stop line on Pine Street. If you stop at that stop line, you cannot see any cars coming. You have to inch up to where the sign is at, past the stop sign right there. So,
Like going northbound, the cars block the intersection, you can't see anything coming.
Yep.
So if the bridge is closed or the lights red,
yes, sir.
you can't cross.
Well, the majority of these accidents are driver fault, obviously. Now, on the south side, right there at 22 and Pine, you got the fire hydrant right there, so you don't have a shoulder between 22 and I guess the insurance business right there. That business, which I'm thrilled to death that he's taken off and flown with it, it does create additional traffic hazards that we didn't have before. And it's nothing to do with his business, it's just the drivers and the people that frequent his business and the amount of traffic we got coming through there. A lot of the traffic that takes Pine Street wants to die is the red light. Because especially on a Friday afternoon, the red light favors east and west on Highway 22, so it backs Highway 21 up further because it times different.
Yeah, my complaint is the cars on 22.
Yes, sir.
Not the business,
No.
not anything else, it's the cars on 22.
And basically, there's not a lot of courtesy out there. They don't let people out like they used to. Everybody's in a hurry to go nowhere. A lot of them drive like idiots. I'm sorry, it's just, to put it bluntly, there's no other way of saying it nicely. We deal with accidents, and we deal with injuries, we deal with the lawsuits, we deal with everything, and that's what we do. But it's just, we've looked at trying to correct it. When you pull up going southbound, if you look to your right, there's nothing, there's no obstructions right there, there's no nothing. Even if the Thai restaurant or other restaurants full of cars, you still have plenty of room to see. People just want to chance it, they want to inch out there. We write a fair amount of citations for people that block that intersection. It drives me insane. We got signs up, absolutely. We got signs up on that pole that says, do not block this intersection. We got the same thing on Highway 21 when you're coming up by St. Joseph and St. Tammany Streets. And for whatever reason, they want to be one car length ahead of them. So we ride them as fast as we can. And I'm telling them, it's obvious. They got a big sign right there, and you just ignored it.
Have you seen any pattern westbound versus eastbound traffic on 22 causing creating accidents?
It's the time of the day. Morning time, you got greater eastbound. Evening time, you got the westbound. They're coming back through. But if you watch the red light is timed for the east and west to try to keep the traffic flowing. Once you stop it, Councilman, it backs up so fast. It back up across the bridge on the westbound in the afternoon, and then the eastbound side, you'll see it in the morning. I come out every morning at 5:30. And you'll see them at 5:45, 6 o'clock, and they backed up past the tourist pig, going eastbound.
This is just my observation, having spent 3 years on that corner with Shanda at the snowball stand. It seems like we saw a lot of people, and I guess they're upset because they had to sit in traffic to get to the red light. And as soon as the light turns green, they really take off, accelerate quickly.
Yes, sir.
Which to me is dangerous coming up on that. There's so many pedestrians across here too.
Yes, sir. It boils down to, my opinion, is the impatience of the drivers. And like you said, some of them's in a hurry to go to something first, most of them just in a hurry just to be silly. But it's just, we've looked at that intersection, both Mike and I and all the other departments, we've tried to figure it out. We tried to put a pattern on the cars, we try to put a pattern on the accidents. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You may get a wreck at midnight, you may get it at 6 in the morning, you may get it at 1 in the afternoon. It's weekend, summertime is going to be more because just the volume of traffic. You got people pulling boats. That's a big headache to us because they try to inch up, and they block the intersection, and people try to go around them, and we write a fair amount of citations. I'm not warning anybody for that. That's just a decision made by the driver, and I just don't think they should be warned. I think they should be all cited, and that's what we're doing. we're going to try to put a stop to it the best we can. We're not going to say our way out of that problem, I'm going to tell you now, but we're going to try our best to slow it down, I'm going to tell you now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maintenance?
All right, we covered the community center roof, gas service, 11 new customers in the last month. We got some regulator station upgrades we'll be making before June. Those are supposed to start Monday on the gas regulator stations. We completed the drainage at St. Paul in Maine by the old cemetery and Desire, I think it's called Desire Marinas. That really helped that corner out for sure. I met with Griner, I don't know Cody's exact title with Griner last week to show him what he thinks about the location of the new well. Talked to Mr. Joe about it today. We just got a lot of obstacles on accessing it, getting it close enough to the old well, 2 large trees, and keeping the ball fields operational if possible. So we just got a lot to think about whenever we start working down there. The park, on the other side, our park seems to really be a hot spot right now. I think every weekend there's crawfish bowls, birthday parties, so that is being used tremendously here lately. The smoke test that we did with the sewer project, they didn't find many things, but we did fix the one that I think was the main problem. And with all the rain that we've had in the past 2 weeks, I know it's not going in there anymore, so hopefully that's put a stop to the infiltration we had down there.
Question on that. Is that job complete? Is that substantially complete?
Yeah, there's some of the sealed manhole lids aren't, you know, the lids that keep popping up in certain places, we actually pulled the seals out until they come back, and we don't know if those manholes are different from the standard size manhole, so we're actually going to try to get Jacob Chisholm with Sewer Century down here to help them on those last, I think there's like a half a dozen of them that are giving her trouble. Besides that job's complete.
Okay, all right.
And don't forget about the guard rodeo, you ought to go back on.
Yes, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. He just texted me again, wanted to know what y'all decided.
Well, I'm glad you texted him. Well, yeah, we'll go back on that. Any questions for maintenance? Thank you, Kyle. Mr. Danner?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Okay, some of the things that I've handled this past month, starting with the flood prevention ordinance, the amendment as previously recited, review and comments on the community center roof, the contract, and the meetings with the mayor and Kyle, the sign ordinance amendment, the preparation of the resolution for the mayor to sign agreement with the DOTD, the review of the tax administration agreement and occupational license tax agreement, which is ongoing, meeting with the mayor, and telephone conversations with Nuno Group LLC, who is the vendor in that matter, meeting with Stephen Marcus relative to the insurance coverage, and meetings with the mayor, daily meetings with the mayor, 4 out of 5 days a week, relative to a variety of subjects. I'm also dealing with 400 Cedar Street, the rental from Renew. Let's see. I've had several communications with the attorney and meeting with the mayor about that. Attendance at the council meeting and committee meetings and attendance with the mayor's court. Previous review of tickets, almost really on a daily basis, and I can't really my own handwriting. Anyway, I'll remember it later, but I'm sure you're not interested.
I actually wanted to know what became of the meeting with Stephen Marcus and the insurance policies. Have we made any decisions?
Yeah, well, no decisions yet, but we decided that there were some gaps, various gaps in our insurance coverage, so we asked them to do a complete redesign, if you will, a review, and so we had to fill out some applications for each policy, and I believe the agent just recently sent that to him, so we're waiting for the results of his review now.
Any other questions for legal? Hearing none, let's go back before we get council comments to Casey. And it's not to say he just didn't realize he needed to come. His request is the same. Kyle?
Yeah, he didn't realize he could come back. Sounded like they approved it there. If they want to vote on it tonight, just base it off what he told y'all the last meeting.
Okay, so his request remains the same to move it into town and to have the location at the park. I don't know what more he could have said to you that he didn't say at the committee meeting. And other than meeting with him personally and asking him to come to that meeting, knowing that we couldn't make a decision, but that he could bring it to your attention what he wanted to do. If I can answer any questions that you may have, I'll try to do that.
I reached out to David Burke because he lives at the end of Pine Street there, just to get some feedback from him. I guess his input was just a concern of traffic backing up, doing the weigh-in on Janky. He had suggested if there's a way to have the vehicles maybe go through the parking lot, but I know we want to use that for parking, there might be a better solution for the weigh-in. And I don't know how backed up they would get.
Or you'll put them around Mabel, around the library, because there's enough room, you can park on the one side all
Yeah,
the way
if
around.
they're coming from that direction, that might be a good idea.
But we'll go to those coordinates with it. I think that's something.
Yeah, I mean, any other questions? Any concerns? Any opinions? I mean, do you have, I guess what he needs to do is know our opinion as far as him moving it into town and locating it at the park so that he can start putting out his publicity and his brochures.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, motion to approve with the understanding that we look at possible, will there be alternate methods for weigh-ins?
Okay.
And that as a consideration, yeah, approve it so we can get his project moving.
Motion by Councilman Bounds,
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Dennis. All in favor? Any opposed? Oh, great. Would you let him know, Kyle, just since you have in it, that it was approved? But what we'd like to do that we'd like to further discuss the location of the weigh-in and how we're going to do it. Okay, council comments. Councilman Ogle?
I mentioned it already, but since my wife is here, Shanda, 33 years of service in the St. Tammany school system. We're all very proud of her. The children who were lucky enough to be in her classroom, I think it's just great. She's 7 days away from retirement.
Oh. Well, I have a daughter doing the same thing this year. Yeah. Councilman Dennis?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the police department for the way they handled both the attempted carjacking at Pennington's that we hadn't talked about, and also handling the traffic with the propane tank issue at Impostata's and the 2 wrecks, and it just seems like the past 2 weeks has been pretty busy for the police department, but they've handled it well. Thank you, Chief.
Councilman Adams? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing, very important. I'd also like to commend the fire department, Fire District 2, for the way they handled this situation at Impataco with the propane leak. It was through their leadership and direction from Chief Hess and our firefighters that are trained for this that brought it to a safe conclusion. And I would also like to thank Fire District 1 and Fire District 4 for their mutual aid.
Okay.
I would like to add, Rick Lavis says thanks, because his house is right next door, so, yeah, I commend the fire department. Thank you, police department. Thank you, Val.
Councilman Bounds?
2 quick things on education. One, I've been updating you guys on our local resident, Ms. Beja. She made her formal decision. She will be a 2030 graduate of Harvard.
Saw that on the fence.
Yes, and then obviously I gotta commend this one back here. She taught my daughter, and they come no better than that one. Thank you, Shane.
Well, my comments, I just thank everyone in attendance for your patience tonight. We had just something we had to address, and we thank you for your patience. Two things, we do, again, as the chief said, not that we sponsor, but we just kind of oversee the fact that we do have a river jump every year, and but the town is in no way sponsors that. That's next Wednesday, and it's a pretty popular thing. Tomorrow I sent out to you all the ribbon cutting, the groundbreaking project. That's the Jafuncta Breakwater that will be announced at the end of the Lake Road. You're all invited to be there for that ribbon cutting. That's the east side of the river where Breakwater will be located. And again, the last thing is because it's the day after our next meeting in June, on June 11th, there is a District I meeting, and it's going to be again at the Anchor, and certainly I hope all of you attend for that meeting. I have no other comments. Entertain a meeting to adjourn.
Motion.
Good.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Dennis, seconded by Councilwoman Faison. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Joe, I wanted to know where it got these.
It's about 50 minutes. Joshua, what did you say? Where do you guys go? I'm from Texas, I work for Bailey's.